at Max Holloway and the thing that makes him so good, he's mastered the game that he plays. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the game, it's a fight, but everybody has a style, a course of action that they take. In jiu-jitsu, people know they want to pass the half guard, they want to take you down, they want to do whatever this route is, their high percentage route. In fighting, we have the same thing, even in mixed martial arts, where you're supposed to be like water, like Bruce Lee says, but still we know where our high percentages lie. We know where we want to be. If we want to be on the outside, counter punching, or if we want to be on the inside, you have a course of action that you normally take. Max Holloway has perfected his course of action, the game that he plays. Max Holloway is a tall guy at the featherweight division, has a 69-inch reach, and he has an unlimited gas tank. You add high-level striking skills with that, and you've got a great fighter. He has been a great fighter. The thing that he's done over the last couple of years that's made him so tough to fight is he's polished that. He's perfected that game. Max plays the game where he's going to keep you at the end of his punches. He uses a long reach. Even a tall guy like Brian Ortega, who is used to being one of the taller guys in the ring, in the octagon, had a tough time against Max Holloway, and you wonder why. Because I thought Brian Ortega did very good. Numbers aside, the punches landed back and forth, the punch differential aside, Brian Ortega fought a hell of a fight. We all know that, but he did very good against Max. The reason Max was able to pull away, Max throws punches in bunches. He's a boxing coach's dream. Most people, when we prepare for fights, we throw one or two shots. When we're hitting pads, when we're shadow boxing, when we're in the fight, when we're imagining it, we throw one or two punches, and then we have a move after. We're going to get out of the way, a counter move, a defensive move, 1, 2, roll, come back, 2, 3, slip. That's a normal process of a fighter. Throw a punch, throw 1 or 2 strikes, and always have your head offline after. Even with that type of game plan, which that right there is very good. Most fighters come in there, they throw punches, their head is still on the firing line. So we're taught to get your head off of the firing line, throw a punch, move your head out of the way, throw a punch, change the angle. With Max Holloway, even that type of game plan becomes difficult because he's throwing so many punches in bunches. He's throwing 3, 4, 5 punches. His head is always off the line. He's continuing it. So while most fighters might throw a jab, cross, and then get their head out of the way one time, Max Holloway is looking to throw 2 or 3 punches, and then while you get your head off of the line and you become back into the firing line after you get your head out of the way, he's still firing. He's still firing. We're not used to evading or trying to counter or be elusive for the 3, 4, and 5th punch. It's just too much. It's too hard. If you tell somebody to throw 10 punches out of at your face, eventually you're going to get hit. And that's what happens with Max Holloway. He throws so many punches from so many different angles without resetting that eventually you get hit. And the amount that he's throwing and the amount that he's landing is because of that. You know, if you throw a 3-punch combo and you throw every single punch as hard as you can, the jab, the cross, and the hook, chances are your opponent is not going to get hit with all 3 punches. Because when you load up on every single punch, it takes you out of position. When you try to knock someone out with every punch, you're taking out of position because you're putting all your weight into it. You're sitting down on the punches, as we call it. The best way to do it is to have a punch, have a knockout punch in there. Have a punch that you want. Normally the last one. So if I'm throwing a 1, 2, 3, a jab, cross, hook, I might just want to touch you up with the jab, cross, and I might try to put you away with the hook. Going 75% on the jab, cross allows me to stay in position, stay balanced, and faster pace enough to land the power on the hook. The hook might put me more out of position because I'm committing to it more. I'm putting 100% into it. If I land or I miss, it might put me a little bit out of position. You cannot punch with power on every strike. The thing that Max does so well, he's found a rhythm, he's found a speed where he can punch every strike at 75-80%. He's not really trying to knock you out. And even when he does it enough that when he tries to knock you out, he's not putting himself out of position. If you swim a mile out to sea, you have to swim a mile back. But if you always stay near the shore, you're always close right there. And that's what Max does. He stays close to shore. He stays close to home with his base, with his frame. Every punch is coming right back. He's not off of position. He's not out of line. And it allows him to throw these 3, 4, 5 punches. You might think, well, why doesn't everybody do that? It's just not that easy. It's not that easy. When you're swinging at a moving target, you have to make adjustments during that. And when your eyes light up because you think you're going to hit that target, you put more into the punch. Those two things cause you to be off balance and makes the third or second punch to follow that a little bit more difficult. Max has polished his game. He's gotten so good at staying on balance, throwing those punches, not getting off balance, not always looking for the one knockout punch, and getting his head off the line. When you have a fighter that's able to do this over the course of a fight with unlimited gas tank, then you have Max Holloway.